All right. Hopefully, this. Um, I recently got new equipment, so a new camera. Um, Hopefully, we'll see some improvement here on the camera, the audio. They're not. I would say I didn't drop a lot of money, but but it's definitely. I would say it's definitely an upgrade. You might see a little bit of an improvement. You might hear a little bit of improvement, but I guess today's about kind of just testing out the equipment that I just bought. For example, just bought this, um, and also bought a new web camera. So let's see how it all pans out. Okay, so the topic today is going to be philosophy and relationships. And in some sense, this is a response to Dawood, um, where he was talking about projects and relationships. But I'm going to go a little bit different around. I'm going to go another way around, where philosophy has improved my own relationships with myself, with other people, and a lot of people. I mean, the normal view of philosophy is, we don't have an answer. Things can just be constantly debated, and but what philosophy has taught me is that when I can't express something and I have trouble expressing that thing, philosophy is that exercise to be able to help you express that thing that you can't express. And I think in a society that the way we are today, we need philosophy in some sense more than ever. But I'm not really here to convince you of that. What I am mainly here to say is how it improved my own dialogues with people, my own relationships, and practicing philosophy for myself helps me express ideas that are very complex. And when you have practice expressing ideas that are complex, then these ideas, we can have a chance to relate to each other. And that's what I really love about philosophy is that maybe I don't know the answer, but for me, it's about asking the right questions. Or not, actually, I would take that back. It's not about asking the right question. It's about asking a better question. Asking a better question. Now, what does that mean? Well, it would mean, how can I ask something? How can I ask about a subject, but frame it in a way that maybe I don't know the answer to, or maybe that you don't know the answer to? And it allows us to have a dialogue, at least a sincere dialogue, about what that answer could be. And I think, and in my opinion, this is a very this is a good practice to have with anybody, really. If I'm being honest, because oftentimes we're asking each other questions that we know the answer to. And it shows how insincere we are in having a dialogue with each other, and that we don't really want to relate to each other. And that to me is the frightening part about how we treat each other, that we don't want to ask questions that maybe I don't know, you don't know. Because if we were to ask questions that we don't know the answer to, we could at least allow ourselves to be surprised. And two, we can allow a space for you and the other person to develop something of maybe another question or another answer that could lead to a question. The whole point is to have the dialogue. And it always baffles me because it's never about being right, but it's about being together in the sense of searching for what could be right. And when we phrase it that way, when we provoke it in that manner, about that you and I are talking in order to provoke something, a direction, a sort of pathway toward what could be right, toward what could be truth, then we are not isolating each other from the knowledge that we think we have. And this is why certainty can be dangerous with relationships. This is why just stating facts can be dangerous. Anything that can stop the conversation is dangerous overall. And philosophy, what I love about philosophy in a very abstract manner, is that philosophy will always continue the conversation. It never wants the conversation to stop. In a way, it's very much in love with wisdom. But we can always translate that wisdom with people into, it's my love to get to know you. And if I want to get to know you, then I don't want to do anything that stops the conversation. I don't want to say things that would stop the conversation. I want to have this constant dialogue with you so that we can clear pathways together. And so it's not about who's right, as like therapists would say. It's not about who's right in the argument. That's not the point. The point is, how can we relate to each other into clearing a new way? And when we clear this new way between each other, we could find within our participation, our dialogue, about what could be right. And this is, I would say, this is something that is underestimated and could be very much enjoyable, that people don't seem to do enough about these days. And that's my relationship with philosophy. But this shows how I've taken that relationship with philosophy and extended that not only to my immediate relationships, but to people that I don't really know. And just to be able to have the practice of expressing things that are complex, things that are maybe hard to understand, I would say that's a sort of a secondary benefit of that as well. But overall, philosophy teaches you the enjoyment of the dialogue, I would say. And a lot of people begin with Plato. And And if we look at Plato, it's always dialectical. It's all dialogue. And you're left frustrated, especially maybe beginner philosophy students they're frustrated because they didn't get to find the answer to the problem. But that's the point. In some sense, that's the point, to have this dialogue to figure out that we actually don't know what we think we know, and to keep talking, to keep figuring it out together. And that's what a relationship would be. And but Plato would teach you this is what a relationship to truth is like. If you want to have an honest relationship to truth, you have to keep talking. You have to keep having a dialogue with it. You can't do anything that would stop the conversation, because if you do, that truth is no longer truth. It's as good as dead. And the same thing with relationships. If we don't keep the dialogue going in some manner, in some way, then the relationship is good as dead, really. So we can't treat each other like statistics. We can't treat each other like facts. We can't treat each other like anything. We have to treat each other like we don't know each other, honestly. And we can't treat our interpretations with certainty. Now, we can treat our interpretations with some confidence, but we should at least try to verify our confidence by having a dialogue. And many things to do is, how did you ask your people that you talk to is, how did you interpret that? How do you view that? And you'd be surprised how people view things very differently. Now, I know this isn't really anything new, but I mean, once we take a step out of our own thinking and listen and ask questions, better questions, and when I say better questions, I want to clarify that in terms of questions that we don't know the answer to. That would be the better question. And when we do that, we can allow ourselves to be surprised by each other. And this can be enjoyable. And that's the whole point that I'm trying to make. And this is what philosophy has taught me. And with all the relationships that I've encountered, whether through friendships or, speculative partners, people that I'm thinking about dating, and so on and so on. But yeah, that's the end of my talk. All right. Well, thank you guys for listening. As usual, tell me how you guys feel about the new equipment. Do you guys feel like it's a little bit of an improvement? I hope it's a little bit of an improvement. If it's not, then I didn't spend too much money, so it's okay. But yeah, just let me know how you guys feel about this topic. If you guys feel like the improvement of the quality of the video works, it actually did improve, then let me know as well. But other than that, I will see you guys later. Bye.